Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the Nightcap. I'm Levi, and joined again by Dylan, and we replaced Matthias with my good buddy, Marty Murdoch, who is currently donning his Saints blanket like a good fan. Saints are finally good, and we're having a good time, apparently.
Absolutely. I'm having a great time. I don't think a football team of mine is lost. Saints, Iowa State, Illinois.
Oh, Illinois is undefeated, aren't they? Yeah.
Got a big game versus Nebraska Friday, so
that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. They look pretty good.
I'm very nervous about that.
Nebraska is a pretty solid football team.
The only thing I can kind of bank on is my defense is very good. We've got good secondary play. Xavier Scott had the big time pick versus Kansas right before the half to give us the lead in that game, and he's had multiple picks this year. I think he has about 3 or 4 picks. So our defense is good. Luke Altmaier has been probably the best quarterback we've had there in a long time. And he's playing well, and we got guys that can actually go, we got receivers. I think Illinois always have had athletes and DBs and things like that, but we've never really had a quarterback.
Nate Shieldhouse, baby.
I was going to say probably maybe the best quarterback since Nate Shieldhouse, yeah. How do you, as an Illinois grad, how do you feel about your football coach having the Tiger Hawk tattooed on his calf?
The what?
Brett Bielema has an Iowa Hawkeye logo tattooed on his calf.
Did he go to Iowa?
He did go to Iowa.
I mean, that sucks. I did not know that.
He was really bad at Arkansas.
Yeah. Had a rough go.
I don't think I think there's right fits and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. We're not in the game of like good morals and stuff. So Arkansas just hired back Bobby Petrino, so it's more about winning football games, I guess.
That's them hiring back Bobby Petrino is always a really funny thing to me.
Yeah. Because when he got fired, right? They were like 10-2 the season before. They were going in ranked number 1 in the country going into the next season. And then it was like right before the next season, he wrecks the motorcycle with the volleyball player on the back or whatever it was.
Right.
And then Arkansas football. Yeah, and then Arkansas football's been – they were literally ranked number 1 in the country, and it's just been terrible ever since then.
I forgot that they were ranked number 1 at one point.
Yeah. Dude, they had Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis all on the same team. Yeah,
I do remember that because one of my buddies from high school, I don't have to talk to him much anymore, but he came up to me one day, and I was like a junior in high school. He came up to me one day, and he goes, because he had just recently become an Alabama fan, and like this is like 2008, 2009, something like that. This is right when Saban first started winning titles, and he goes, "Guess why I'm an Alabama fan?" And I keep my in Eastern Iowa, and we'd only ever lived in Eastern. He's like, "Guess why I'm an Alabama fan?" I was like, "I don't know, Tori. Why are you an Alabama fan?" He's like, "It's not because of Darren McFadden," and I was like, "Well, that's good because Darren McFadden plays at Arkansas, so." You're telling me what happened is you meant to cheer for Arkansas because you thought that Darren McFadden played for Alabama. You cheer for Alabama and you lucked into cheering for Alabama now. So that's what you're telling me is you meant to cheer for Arkansas because you like Darren McFadden.
That's funny. Wow. Dude, people forget about him, man. He was a
great player.
Yeah, he's up there. Like you talk about like running backs of the 2000s. It's like Reggie Bush, him, Adrian Peterson, like
that Darren McFadden, Felix Jones backfield was a monster.
Peyton Hillis
was Ryan Mallett the quarterback too. Ryan Mallett was really good.
Yeah, Peyton Hillis was good.
The quarterback was Casey Dick.
Yeah, Casey Dick now is a coach.
Right. Yeah,
he's a coach of a high school.
My dad's from Arkansas, so I got family that are Hog fans.
He coaches actually Peyton Hillis and Casey Dick both coach high schools around here.
Well, speaking of the state of Arkansas, Iowa State plays Arkansas State this weekend. after a bye
My
week.
dad's alma mater.
Yeah. Does that have you in conflict or?
I mean, no. I mean, he's probably gonna.
Okay.
I think he's gonna cheer for him, but
Yeah, fair enough.
And Demario Davis too. Now you got 2 reasons to cheer for Arkansas State.
Fair enough. Yeah, so I would say coming off a bye week after beating Iowa, Arkansas State went up to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and had a bad time. And now they're coming back to Jack Trice Stadium. Not back to, they're coming to Jack Trice Stadium on Saturday. This is when we talked about it a little bit last week too, but now you had a bye week after week 2. I guess if you guys, I mean, being former players, what's the mindset coming back out of a week 3 bye? You've only played 2 games. You're just starting to get kind of some stuff going, and now you got to take a week off.
Yeah, there's two different ways. Like one way to look at it is like, oh man, we just got in a groove a little bit, and now we're just like, we got to take a week off, which that does suck, but a lot happens in the first 2 weeks that maybe you expected some of it, maybe you didn't expect some of it. So I think it gives you time to like go over the film and really think about like, man, what do we suck at right now? Because like, you know, Iowa State's not a national contender today. You know, we'll see in 10 weeks, but like, what do we suck at? And it gives you time to go back and really dive into those 2 games. I don't know. I think it's good because then you go into this stretch like we talked about where the schedule kind of ramps up in terms of like what we've seen from people, like how good the teams are coming up. So get rested, ramp up the schedule, get your last bye week, and then you've got like probably the biggest couple games at the end of the year.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of had my initial thoughts about it. I was just like, you know, I didn't really like it that early. And plus, after a big win like that, you kind of want to keep the momentum going. But the injuries that we have and what we talked about on Wide Right, I kind of agree. I'm starting to, you know, go with that side of, you know, it kind of benefits us, gets guys some rest that need it before, you know, getting in the Big 12 play where we're going to need everybody. So I like it now, but I am interested to see how we come out. Are we complacent, or do we kind of smack these dudes in the mouth, you know, be able to control, you know, the line of scrimmage and be able to get big plays over top and kind of put this thing out early. I just feel like a lot of times we let teams like this hang around, and I think the last time I think we blew out a team for real. I thought Northern Iowa last year? We kind of blew them out, but the one I can remember is Brock Purdy and them against Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah.
That's the type of game that I kind of want to see on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, you know, us dominating in all 3 phases and us looking like a team that is, you know, ready to make that real push to win a Big 12 championship.
Where they're come out as clearly the better football team. Like,
yeah,
we did that a couple times. Hey, chill, March, chill. We did it a couple times. We did it. I think it was the same year. I think Kansas State and West Virginia. Didn't we blow both of them out?
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about.
I know what you.
2020.
I'm talking about
just beat
like
the shit out of
those,
both of them.
you know, not mid-level, I guess.
G5s, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to see the week 1 stuff. You know, like
right.
Not necessarily this year, week 1, but like week 1 of like what we're known to do. Like,
and look,
just
don't hold
slow.
nothing back either. Like, it's the season now. Like, let's go. We're here to win the football game and to dominate.
Right. Well, so you mentioned the injuries there too. There's a couple. I mean, obviously in the first couple games, some guys are going to get a little dinged up and whatever. This is a good chance to kind of reset that a little bit. The couple guys that I was interested in hearing about as far as coming off the injury, like they might be ready to go for Arkansas State, was Jalen Travis and Dalen Hazard, the 2 offensive linemen, the left tackle and left guard. Campbell was talking in his press conference. I want to say it was yesterday. Someone asked him about that, and he didn't seem like his answer was not, "Oh yeah, they'll be back and ready to play on site. We'll try to work them in," type of thing. It was very like. It made it sound like he thinks that it'll be a game time thing for either of them.
But that's just kind of how Campbell is, you know, like he he doesn't let the media get a whole lot of information from him.
Does not.
And like for that guy's mindset, like it doesn't matter if you're playing Arkansas State or the Georgia Bulldogs. Like he looks at every game the same. So he's like, if we were playing Georgia, I wouldn't tell him if I was swapping offensive linemen or whatever for this game. Like, I think it's just how he is. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Well, it sounds like Travis and Hazard were both practicing as of last week. Now, practicing, I guess, is different than getting them game reps. But you would feel like if they had had 2 full weeks of practice, they're probably going to at least work them into the rotation, at least, I would think. Especially against Arkansas State, which you would expect them to be able to control in the trenches on either side. You would hope so.
I just feel like it's a trap game, man. I feel like it's such a trap. Like they're not a bad team. Like historically. Like they're historically pretty solid for
honestly, the main part that worries me about Arkansas State is their quarterback, Jalen Raynor. He's not like a particularly like efficient passer or anything like that. Like they throw it a decent amount, and he's got 57% completions. He's 3 touchdowns and 3 picks this year, so he's turning the ball over. The problem, the thing about it that scares me a little bit is he's a very mobile quarterback. He's like, if you don't keep a spy on him, he can definitely hurt you with his legs. And I mean, mobile quarterbacks hurt every team. They are hard to defend. They're hard for any team to defend. But just, when you're playing against a G5 school that's playing with nothing to lose, they've got a mobile quarterback that can sit there and screw around in the pocket a little bit. If you don't get to them right away and they can get loose, it can cause some problems there where, frankly, that's really the only part of Arkansas State that really worries me is the mobile quarterback, because I think he's fat, he's quick enough, and he's got good enough legs where he can he can pick up a 3rd and 5 on a scramble or something like that. But
and the fact that they played Michigan last week, no better way to get ready for this game than to play Michigan, right? Because there's nothing that these guys might be bigger, faster, and stronger than us, but they just saw that, so there's no punch you in the mouth factor, really.
Yeah, I don't think they're really surprised by the physicality necessarily. I think the main thing, the main difference from us to Michigan is scheme. Because Michigan ran for almost 400 yards against them. They just pounded and pounded and pounded and pounded, which they kind of have to because Michigan has no passing game right now. So Michigan just beat the running game right down their throats the whole time. Whereas, I would expect that we will try to get more of a running game going this particular game because they probably think that they can get it going. But in the end, I feel like this is still always going to be a pass-first offense, just with what they've got available and the way Taylor Mauser has called the first couple games. I feel like they're still going to try to use the pass to set up the run, which is quite a bit different than what Michigan offered, even if, the physicality probably set an expectation for them. So they're not going to be surprised by how physical Iowa State is. But it'll be a pretty drastic, scheme change as far as what you're trying to stop defensively.
One thing that I think is a huge factor for us is that we are coming off of a bye, and we had time to prepare for the mobile quarterback. So I'm sure Campbell, Coach Haycock, and the defensive staff have, been working on different things that they can do to neutralize him and probably keep him in the pocket, which is what I'm assuming the game plan is to try to probably keep him in the pocket, not, rush the ends up the field at all, and then suffocate him from inside with different inside blitzes, things like that to confuse him, to get him to hold the ball. I just don't see Haycock not being aware that this guy is mobile. Now, I'm sure this guy's going to, make a couple plays in the game. Of course, he's playing Iowa State, so everybody plays their best versus us. So, but I do think that Haycock has the advantage with having a bye week and them being able to watch what they were doing versus Michigan, even though it may not be the same defense. You can at least get used to the personnel and the players and the things that they like to do. So I think we'll be prepared. And that's another reason why I think this needs to be a blowout game.
Yeah, and they have confidence. I know you say if you watch the Michigan game, Michigan dominated the football game, but they just went into Ann Arbor and left a 10-point loss. At Arkansas State, you're feeling pretty good about that.
Mhm.
I mean, regardless of, if you say, oh, you watched the film, they just ran all over them. But like, I would like to not be in a 10-point game this weekend.
Right.
Yeah, and it's these G5 games are always tricky because like historically, I would say it's generally done pretty good again in this game. But then like you look at last year, they had to go to Ohio and that did not go well. Now, granted, there was some other kind of extenuating factors on that, extenuating circumstances with that game where apparently like half the team, including Rocco Beck, was sick with the flu or sick from food poisoning and stuff like that. It was kind of a weird situation, but they still lost. And if Iowa State wants to be a perennial contender in the Big 12 and a team that can make the playoff on a somewhat regular basis, this is a game that you have to just take care of business. I mean, you have to win this game by 2-3 touchdowns. You should. I mean, Iowa State's got a pretty significant gap in talent between from Arkansas State. Arkansas State's a well-coached football team, but there's a significant gap in talent between Iowa State and Arkansas State, and that's you'd like to see Iowa State really flex its muscles a little bit against a team like this that they should, especially when you like the next week you're looking at going to Houston, who's kind of I don't really know what to think about Houston. They kind of seem like they're still bad, but they've been competitive in a couple games, so. I don't know what to really think of Houston, but it feels like now it's no longer you can go through and sleepwalk and beat Houston now.
Right.
So, you want to make sure that they're getting off on the right foot coming out of this bye, and hopefully they're not getting too bogged down where you're back now. You're at North Dakota offense and trying to work forward, and you can just building off of the Iowa game.
Yeah, I guess I'm just on edge about it because like if you watched last week, there was. All over college football, there was like scares. Like, Iowa was in a barn burner, Arkansas, UAB. Like, there was a bunch of games last week that I was like, oh man, like this could be like Kentucky, Georgia. Like, I know it's an SEC game, but it's still like
Houston took Oklahoma close a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
like this season in general, it's had a lot of like big programs not dominating football games.
Well, and I think like that's the thing with all the transfer portal and the NIL and all that stuff. All that does is shrink the gap between the Alabamas of the world and the Arkansas States of the world. Not that they can beat Alabama, but like that stuff shrinks the gap a little bit because your best football players aren't always just going to go to the best football program.
Right. Yeah. That's an interesting take, though, because a lot of people when all this stuff first showed up would say that like they thought that it was going to widen the gap between Georgia and Texas and all this. Yeah. And I actually have been generally in my mode of thinking is actually aligned with more of what you said, where I thought it was going to shrink the gap a little bit because Georgia and Texas and Alabama were already hoarding all the 5-star in Ohio State. We're already hoarding all the 5-star prospects. Like there's not like some mythical 6-star prospect that exists in the ether because they have NIL money. They're still getting the top end pro prospects they've always gotten. So like it's not as though they're getting different players than they always have been.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be impossible. Like the Alabama dynasty that we lived through.
Alabama is an interesting one because Alabama, most people don't realize Alabama does not have the financial horses that like Georgia and Ohio State. They don't have the same backing financially that those other big programs do.
And like that, I think that's not that run they had. Like that's not possible in today's game. Like I don't see how.
Tough. I mean, it kind of seems like Georgia's trying to do it, but winning like 3 in 5 years or something like that is just not. In a 12-team playoff seems unlikely because the larger they expand this playoff, the more opportunities there are for weird shit to happen. I mean, just like in March Madness where it's a 68-team playoff now or whatever it is. There's as fun as March Madness. It's funny because it's funny as fun as March Madness is. It's actually kind of a shitty way to determine a champion because it's a whole bunch of single game samples and a lot of it's so matchup dependent and all this. Football is not quite there because over the course of 4 quarters, generally speaking, the better football team's gonna win.
Yeah. That's the reason March Madness is crazy because you get like some kid from the 16 seed team that you've never heard of just drops 52 points.
Yeah, they just get hot out of nowhere, wherever. Where that's harder to do in football. It's not impossible, but it's harder to do in football for sure. But now you have even the number 1 seed is still going to have to win 3 games to win a title. They're still going to have to win 2 to get in, and then one more to win the title.
Yeah.
So
and then injuries, you're adding extra games.
You're adding extra games with injuries, and it's not only an extra game to get into the title game, but it's like an extra game against another very good football team. Where it's an extra exposure point. So it's interesting because
I'm excited. I think it'll be really fun.
I think the 12-team playoff will be very good. I really do. Because and it might not be this year. At some point, the G5 team is gonna win a game.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's gonna happen. Maybe it'll be Boise State gets in, and then they go on the road to face the 4th SEC team. They go to Oxford, Mississippi, and play Ole Miss.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem with the way it's structured. It'll be really hard for them to win a game because
they'll always have to go on the road to probably an SEC school.
Well, it's the 5 seed, right? So I get that right.
It's
5 and 12.
Yeah,
1 through 4 get a bye. 5 plays 12. I think.
Right. And the G5 school will basically
be 12.
Well, not necessarily 12, but they'll definitely.
I think they're slotted, right?
Are they slotted at 12?
I think they're slotted at 12.
Well, if they're slotted at 12, then they're slotted at 12.
And that's going to be tough for them because you think about the number 5 team is always going to be like last year, Georgia would have been the 5 team.
Right. They're going to have.
They just dropped the SEC championship game, but we're probably the best football team in the country.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard for them to be.
Like this year, whoever the G5 representative, whether it's Boise State or it's whoever, are probably going to have to try to win a football game at Texas or at Georgia.
Yeah, like the loser of the SEC championship game. Most years would be. So
it'll be tough, but someday it will happen. Like it. And the first time that the G5 rep school gets in and beats and wins their first round game will be fantastic. This thing will all be worth it. And it'd be
hope it isn't versus us.
Yeah.
Fortunately, unless something goes really weird, I don't think we'll ever be the 5 seed. We'll either be 1 through 4 or we'll be 10 or something like that. Like we'll never be 5.
Yeah.
So that's something, I guess, is that we can't lose to the G5.
We'll definitely be somewhere cool, though.
Iowa State is honestly, in the first year of this playoff, the best case scenario for Iowa State, as far as just from a fan experience perspective, would be going undefeated in the regular season and playing like some other. Playing like 11-1 Utah, where the only loss is us. We play them in the Big 12 title game. We lose to Utah, so they get the auto bid, and then we get in as an at-large, and then we host a first-round game at Jack Trice Stadium. That would kick an unreal amount of ass.
So are all the second round
championship?
Yeah, are all the second round games neutral?
They're neutral. Yeah, they're all neutral, like the Rose Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, and all that. That's all the second round stuff. So But yeah, so
I'd rather have the bye week at that point. I think I'd.
That's why I wanted to clarify the fan experience.
Yeah.
Specifically, because for the football team, if you're trying to win a national title, yes, you want the bye week. However, hosting a first round playoff game at Jack Trice, like the third week of December, like right around Christmas or some shit, or like the week before Christmas at Jack Trice in December, sign me up 100 days a week.
So
that would be so much fun.
I'm curious on your take on this, the slotting on 1 through 4. I know it depends on how the season plays out, but so is the SEC champion automatic 1, you think?
If it's an undefeated SEC the number 1 seed will always be either the Big Ten or the SEC champion.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State is good enough this year that they could probably argue for the 1 seed, because right now the narrative is that Ohio State is basically untouchable.
Yeah.
The reason I can see the Big 12 falling to the 4 seed a lot, because
they'll either be 3 or 4.
Yeah, we beat the hell out of each other. You could have an 8-4 Big 12 champion.
Oh, easy.
9-4.
Yeah. The Big 12 and the ACC are fighting for 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Once you get to the playoff, it doesn't matter a lot whether you're 3 or 4. I don't know. Maybe not.
A little bit, because you talk about how good the 5 seed is going to be most years.
Yeah.
They're going to whip up the Group 5 team, and then you play the 4 seed. So
Yeah.
you kind of want to avoid the 4 seed, I guess. If you can.
Because you're playing just the second best SEC team, which may or may not be one of the actual 3 or 4 best teams in the country. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's not ideal, but I think one interesting part of this is that the ACC is losing credibility really quickly because Florida State is so bad, and Clemson is probably the Clemson dynasty is over. They're going to be pretty mediocre for a while, I think. So in the ACC, you're looking at Miami, maybe, who has been a very inconsistent program for the last 2 decades, basically. And so, right now the ACC does not have a lot of like good press about it. There's a lot of reasons that a lot of people don't take the ACC particularly seriously at this point. Yeah, and like if their champion is like if somehow like SMU is the ACC champion or some shit like that, they're the 4 seed, guarantee it. They're the 4. They're like, there's no way the college football playoff is giving an ACC champion SMU team
right.
the 3 seed. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I just think, it's interesting, right? Because the Big Ten champion will always be ahead of the Big 12 champion unless it's an undefeated versus a not undefeated.
Yeah, unless it's a weird situation where like.
Yeah, but I think the Big 12 is top to bottom a better football conference because.
I would agree with that, actually.
Like, sure, you've got your Ohio State, Michigan, obviously, but I guess they're kind of down this year. But like, at the bottom, it gets pretty ugly in the Big Ten.
After you get past Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, maybe in USC.
They were in another close one too.
Yeah. So after you get past Oregon, Ohio State, USC, and
I guess they got a little bit better with the realignment.
They picked up a couple like top tier programs.
Yeah.
But once you get past those top 4 to 6, it drops off so fast.
Right.
Like, you're past the top group, and then you're talking about like, Nebraska's good this year, but generally speaking, they're just kind of whatever. Like, they're just the most boring college football team of all time. And then there's Iowa, which they win games, but they also did it in a shit ass division. So it's
beyond
that.
They were 5th in the Big Ten going into the season.
Yeah. So and then beyond that,
and they lost to the 7th ranked Big 12 team preseason.
Yeah. So and then beyond that, you start getting into the Rutgers and the Michigan States and the Indianas and the Purdues and the Minnesotas and stuff like that. Wisconsin's pretty bad right now. And Illinois might be the best Big Ten West team.
So I'm saying this is a big game.
March, but Illinois has not won a ton of football games recently. So
no, if they beat Nebraska, they're the favorites in my opinion.
For what?
You think they're
not in the Big Ten? I'm saying for their side.
Yeah.
Well, the Big Ten doesn't have sides anymore.
Yeah, so that's the thing I can't figure out. The Big Ten and the SEC is all jacked up now. There's no SEC West.
I thought the SEC still has divisions.
No, they're in pods.
They're in the pods. Yeah, they're in the pods.
It's
now,
one thing too.
Yeah, it's a weird deal. So they're in the pods, but the Big Ten has no divisions. They're just straight up.
The pods are just like who they play every year.
Right. It's just like protected rivals.
And I'm glad the SEC did that because for a long time it was kind of like the Big Ten. Like you had the SEC West and you had your, all your the juggernaut that it was, and then the East was like
garbage.
There was
Well, that way there was a stretch there where Georgia was always like an 8-3 team or an 8-4 team. Like they weren't Georgia that we think of now. Back when like Mark Richt was there, they were like a perennial like 8 or 9 win football team.
Yeah, before then it was Florida.
Yeah,
it was just like.
Yeah, it wasn't a great division because then, the SEC's got South Carolina, who was kind of not great for a long time.
Well, Vanderbilt's
Kentucky,
an SEC. All
that.
Kentucky.
Yeah. Is Tennessee West or East?
They're East.
They're East. And Tennessee.
They've been better recently, but they were bad.
Tennessee's been really good recently the last 3 or 4 years with Josh Heupel got there, but they were bad for a long time. Yeah. But so the interesting part, I'd be curious to see this first go around because there's a couple clear dominant teams in college football that are going to be at the top. They're going to be in like Georgia's going to be in, Alabama's going to be in, Texas is going to be in, Ohio State's going to be in, Oregon's going to be in, and probably USC. So you got half of your playoff picked right there. I will be curious to see, does the SEC get a fourth team? Does the Big Ten get a fourth team? You know, I would assume they'll probably both get 4, honestly.
Crazy part about it, the craziest thing is not going to be like who is top 4, who is 5. It's going to be who 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying is like, because the ACC and the Big 10 or the Big 12 will both get at least one team in. I will be curious to see if either of those conferences get a second team in, or are they just going to say
it's going to be how the season pans out? Because,
right.
Like I said, like we beat each other up, and if your Big 12 championship game is a 9-3 versus a 9-3, then it's like
one team. Yeah, you're not going to.
Yeah,
and like, you know, just thinking about Iowa State, like, you know, I know a lot of media people don't respect like Iowa's offense, but as a team on the outside looking in, it's not easy to win in Kinnick.
No,
so that's a game that you win with, and that maybe could help us out later on in the future to be able to sneak into those last couple spots. Because, you know, even though Iowa's offense,
I mean, we have the best non-con. Yeah, we have the best non-con win in the Big 12, no question about it.
Yeah, but our other ones aren't impressive. So it's good that we have the one because
everybody's got 2 shit bye games though. Yeah. I mean, if you're Georgia or something like that, you'll play some other one. But like for the most part, for the teams that are at our level, like everybody plays 2 cupcake games.
Like if you're Kansas State, you're happy about that Tulane win. You know?
Well, are you? I mean, you're happy you won.
I mean, Tulane's pretty solid.
Tulane's a solid enough.
I mean, if they win their conference going on the road, I think that's a quality win.
It is, I think Kansas State fans came away from that game not particularly satisfied because one, up to this point, Avery Johnson has not shown a lot of ability to throw the football. He's a good runner, but he has not shown the ability to take over the game as a passer or anything like that.
And Tulane got everything they wanted on offense.
Kansas State's secondary is pretty bad. It's rough to the point where we should be able to, and West Virginia's is also turning out to be pretty rough too, where we should be able to tear both of them up through the air, assuming everybody's healthy when we get to that point of the season. But, you know, right now, Iowa State there isn't a better team in the conference right now that's positioned to get, if somehow the Big 12 gets 2 bids, there is nobody in better position right now than Iowa State to get that second bid.
Yes.
Now, granted, if Utah goes 11-1, Utah's got enough respect nationally where they're going to say, okay, they went 11-1, we can put Utah in because Utah is just they're always a top 10-ish program. Or at least in the Pac-12, they were always a top 10-ish, top 10, 15 program. They have a pretty good national reputation that a lot of experts nationally will feel comfortable sliding them in as an at-large. But right now, but Kansas State's not getting in as an at-large, unless they're they'd still have to be like a 12-0 and then losing the title game type of at-large. But, you know, right now their best non-con win was a kind of a scary close win at Tulane that they don't feel great about. Whereas Iowa State's best non-con win is going into Kinnick and beating them and beating Iowa.
Well, that's your best way to get 2 Big 12 teams in is a 12-0 that loses the title game.
Right. That's the best way it's going to happen. And right now, Iowa State is by far in the best position to do that. And do it with an impressive resume.
And it's going to be tough. Like we play Utah right at the end of the year. You're going to turn around and play Utah again 3 weeks.
Yep.
And that's tough. I mean, it's tough, man. Beat somebody twice in the same season is tough.
So no, it's Utah.
Why are we assuming
Utah
that
and then Kansas State?
Yeah,
Kansas,
so that's going to be like Utah. I think Utah's second to last game, and then there'll be one more game, and then the bye week.
They finish out with Kansas State. So there's a reasonable chance that, so if, let's say Kansas State makes it to the Big 12 title game as the other one, there's a reasonable chance that Iowa State will play 3 consecutive conference football games against Kansas State because they'll play the last game of the season, they play the Big 12 conference title game, and then they would play Kansas State in week 0 in Ireland next year. So it'd be like, you guys wouldn't remember this, but back in 2012, we played Tulsa, and we played them in the regular season, and then we played Tulsa again in the bowl game, and then in the next season we played Tulsa again for the G5 game. It was dumb. Like we played Tulsa like 3 times in like 8 games or something like that.
Kind of like playing Memphis twice in the Liberty Bowl.
Playing Memphis at their home stadium in a bowl game is bullshit.
We did it twice.
Also, the Liberty Bowl is a fucking shit stadium.
Yeah,
garbage.
It's kind of like the one here in Little Rock.
I know that's where March ended his career on a good note, but stadium's kind of poopy.
Had a great time.
You know, the only thing that I can ever think about in that game is the fact that we hadn't lost a fumble all season long, and it had never been done. It had never been done. Never.
Well, and if you go back and look at the replay, David was in.
Yeah, he was in. It was a bad call, and we lost a fumble that almost cost us the game. It cost us a record that'll never be broken. That's all I can ever think about.
That annoyed the shit out of me. I mean, it was a great win or whatever, where like Allen caught that deflected touchdown pass in the end zone.
Yeah, I deflected it.
I was gonna say, I think I was,
it was like
pretty sure it
tipped, and then like I had a chance to catch it, and then like he caught it. It
just fell right into Allen's lap. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I think we're gonna.
And then Allen got the coolest trophy ever produced by mankind after that game.
Yeah, great MVP.
That big fucking eagle.
Yeah,
is sick. I don't know if you've ever seen that trophy. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I played in the game, dude.
Well, I didn't know
I was leading the land ram truck, dude. I didn't catch any balls that year, but I was fucking blocking my ass off.
There you go.
You saw Brock's from the Fiesta Bowl. It was way less impressive. I don't know if you remember. I don't know. I'll show it to
you. Yeah, I kind of remember.
I'm trying to remember now.
I can show it to you, but not here.
It was like, and he like could hold it in one hand, whereas Allen had to carry it with 2 hands.
You had to get like a skid loader to lift that bitch up. It was crazy. And then I mean, it's on display.
When I saw the MVP trophy, I was like, bro, I need some passes. I told Kyle like, hey, I need passes. I'm trying to get the trophy.
What they need to do for bowl games.
And then I thought Keem was gonna get it that first drive. I'm like, Keem finna get the trophy. He ran down the middle of the field. I'm like, Yeah, it was crazy.
College football needs to get the same people that design motocross trophies. That's what college football needs with. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like trophies that they get at like motocross races, like even like junior races. If you got like my cousin raced motocross for a long time, and he actually had a pro license and all this. But anyways, when you go to like a little mini motocross event or whatever, the trophies they give these 12-year-olds are taller than the fucking kids. I'm not even kidding. Like the 3rd place trophy for like a 125cc 12-year-old race or something like that, I'm not kidding, will be 5 feet tall. For some reason, motocross has cornered the market on outrageously large trophies.
Yeah, well, when I played like travel baseball growing up, we got like a little plastic trophy, for winning a tournament. And then my little brother was coming back with like whole ass rings and shit.
Right.
Like I'm like, they give it like stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like I think sweet, huh, Marsh?
Yeah, it is. I'm sick.
It's a cool ring.
I left a couple years early.
Yeah. All right. I'll show you this. This is just a random generic Google.
Since we're all here shitting on the Liberty Bowl, hopefully they're let's go ahead and let's take a look.
Yeah, I still have that ring.
The camera doesn't really do it a whole lot.
It's pretty.
The Liberty Bowl is way less impressive.
Yeah.
So you got the Fiesta Bowl on the left.
For sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the football shaped one. I mean, this looks like a natty ring. It's got like the We Will on the inside.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was sick too because I was at that Big 12 championship game too. I thought y'all finna had 2 of them.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah,
well, we got. I mean, I go on all day about that game. Like, targeting stuff was like kind of new, right?
Oh, and Isheem Young getting ejected on the second play of the game.
Yeah, that was rough. And then
shout out current North Texas Mean Green safety Isheem Young.
And, typical Iowa State fashion, we decided to get behind and then try to play in the 4th quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
what was it? I thought Charlie caught that pass
too. It was
I was like, yo.
27-21, is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Because if they'd scored on that last drive there that Brock threw the pick, I mean,
no, we had the ball in their territory,
right?
And Brock threw a pick
on like the 10-yard line. I mean, you were right there. Yeah,
he threw a pick on 3rd down.
Yeah, Not ideal.
Love Brock, but third down, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't care because he's going on and like doing cool shit. I'm like the washed up fucking old head in the gas station. It's like the fucking Big 12 championship game.
That guy's about 8 months away from being the highest paid football player in the history of the NFL. So
yeah.
He's gonna be making $65 million a year.
Big time for him to make that money too, with Debo and CMC out. So if he can start,
last week wasn't pretty, man.
If Brock can continue to keep the 49ers winning while those two are out, that'll be
lost.
That's great leverage for him.
That will silence any of the people that are still like.
They just lost to Sam Darnold.
They did.
Brock's back up.
They did.
Yeah. I mean, but
that happened.
I mean, Vikings aren't.
They look pretty good first two games so far.
Yeah, like I think Vikings are like, if you go up there, like, you know, on any given Sunday, you probably could lose to them, you know, at home.
Yeah, they look solid. The funny thing about the Vikings is they're just a perennial. They're going to go 8-8, 9. You know, I guess they're 17, so they're going to be like a 9-8 football team or something.
Yeah, that's what all the 49ers fans were like. You guys enjoy this week 2 win. Yeah. We won't see you in the playoffs.
They won't make the playoffs. They'll get like the 12th pick or something like that, where it's like, yeah, it's a good enough player, I guess, but it's not like a program, like a franchise changer or anything like that.
Yeah, can we talk about that? I want to start a petition. I think the team that wins the Super Bowl should get the first pick.
That
wouldn't even be fair, though.
So your plan is to give the Kansas City Chiefs the number 1 pick for the next like 8 out of the next 10 years.
That would be.
They're not going to win the Super Bowl.
They may not, but we said that last year and they won the fucking Super Bowl. So.
Do you know how? Just think. I feel bad for the players, man. You know how many of these like elite generational talents just get their entire career ruined because they go into a dumpster fire of an organization.
I mean, look at Justin Fields and maybe Caleb Williams. The Bears can't get their offensive line together, so both of them are going to fucking suck.
Yeah, the Panthers, right? What are the
Panthers? Oh my god!
What are they going to do to this first round pick or this first overall pick next year? They're going to ruin his career just like they did to everyone else.
Just like they did to Bryce Young. Look how many quarterbacks Carolina's taken like early-ish and completely fucking ruined. And there's a bunch.
Mark
of
Sanchez got ruined.
The Browns ruined quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Cardinals did it for a long time.
At least like do something where like the first pick can just not be the absolute worst. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
so you think about it, right? Like if the Chiefs get the first overall pick, they're not taking a quarterback.
Yeah, so, no, definitely not.
Yeah, all the good teams have a franchise quarterback. They're not. The good quarterbacks are still going to be there.
They'll fall down, yeah.
They're just going to get screwed out of money. Like for being the best quarterback in college football, you're going to lose like $20 million by falling first round.
The problem with that is that it's like are you saying like the Super Bowl champion would get 1 and then the worst team would get 2 type of thing?
That could be better, I guess. Yeah, that could be better. I was going to say flip the whole thing.
You can't flip the whole thing because then it's like. Then the bad teams never get better.
But like the way it's going, it's not like they get any better by getting the first pick anyways.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those bad teams. The perennially bad teams have problems all the way up to the owner. But you know, it's one of those where at least you look at like the Texans were bad, and then they took Deshaun Watson, and they were good. You know, finding the right guy at the top of the draft can change you around a little bit.
Yeah, the Bama quarterbacks aren't doing too great, huh?
The Bama quarterbacks are not awesome right now. The best one is Jalen Hurts, and he's
struggling a little bit.
He's not having a good time. Do you guys? That's like
sorry, Jalen Hurts.
Coming
on Sunday.
I mean, you would probably say Tua, but who knows what happens with Tua going forward?
Well, he's got to retire.
I thought he should have retired after the last one.
Yeah, there's no. Like he's got to retire, or he's going to get the biggest lawsuit that the NFL's ever paid in their life. I don't know. That's a whole like different thing. But I am shocked that Tua is still like voluntarily throwing himself out there. I mean, I get that guys are competitive, but like, holy cow, just like you got to take care of yourself at some point. At some point, someone has to stop Tua from hurting.
I wonder what the Dolphins are going to do. Like, I wonder what trades they can make.
Zach Wilson,
But
baby.
enough about those teams. Let's talk about the real team, man.
Oh.
I mean,
Let's talk about the
last
Saints.
week it was, I don't know, March. We're playing the Cowboys, blah, blah,
Listen,
blah.
I've seen bad stuff from the Saints. I've seen bad stuff. I've been in the building. I just wasn't sold yet. If week one, if week one I had gotten to see the Saints play somebody other than the Carolina Panthers, I would have been more all in. But because it was the Panthers, yeah, they blew them out. But it's like the Panthers would probably lose to Georgia. Like,
True.
I mean,
but you gotta see how they won the game, and how they won the game was dominant. So I had never seen that since Breeze. So I was just confident, and I knew that Dak Prescott, when everybody picks the Cowboys and everybody puts their faith in them, the Cowboys crumble. How many times are we going to do this? Whenever the Cowboys are favored and every single analyst is picking the Cowboys, you should bet the house on whoever they're playing. I don't get, unless they're playing maybe Carolina, maybe like the real bottom of the barrel teams. But if they're playing somebody with weapons, and that's a good enough team, they are going to crumble. We've seen it time and time and time again, which is why what happened Sunday happened. But what's different is the Saints not only have an offense, they've got a smart play caller on right now in Clint Kubiak. Now, obviously, they've got to continue to do this, and I think the next 4-game stretch for us is going to put to rest the doubters, or resurrect the doubters. Either or, it doesn't matter. I do think we beat Philly this Sunday. They don't have A.J. Brown. I think, they're coming on a short week, so I think we beat them. Then right after that, you've got Atlanta. At Atlanta, I think that's going to be a tough one, but, I mean, Atlanta struggled.
The Cowboys game was without Marshawn too, I believe, right?
Exactly. And you get Marshawn practice this week, so you're going to get him, and they have no A.J. Brown, so I'm guessing he's going to be more matched up on Devontae Smith with an already very underrated secondary, which is what I've been trying to tell people.
If they continue to do what they do on offense, they'll be fine. Their defense has always been good, and it'll always be good. Like, the head coach is a defensive guy; that's what he does. So
now, are we winning the Super Bowl? No, no. But I think we are a good enough team to get to the playoffs and maybe make some noise.
Yeah, because going to get a win from our boy Brock, and how are you going to feel about that game? We have to go into San Francisco and try to win there in playoffs.
Sorry, Brock. It's nothing personal. It's just business. But if he wins, I'm going to cheer for him. He's already doubted. I'm in group chats where people are just like, he's so fortunate. He's the luckiest guy on the planet.
Check down merchant.
He was the last pick in the NFL draft.
I hate that stuff, and that's the only reason that there are that. If he was a top 10 pick in the draft, people would be like, "Oh my god, this guy's the greatest thing since."
Yeah.
But it's like
I was saying that because of where he went to school and what draft pick he was.
Yeah, and like Patrick Mahomes, let's get this clear. Like, it's not that he wasn't very fortunate either. He got into a really good spot as well. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he landed right into Andy Reid's lap, and if you're of any coach in the NFL, you could try to fall into and be coached by as a rookie. Andy Reid's the guy you would pick.
Yeah, and if people can hate on Brock, I can hate on Patrick Mahomes. I remember he came into Ames, shut it down, lost 66-10 to a 3-9 Iowa State team.
Got his ass beat. Yep. Joel Lanning was his daddy that day.
Yeah, the Kamara thing kind of got me this week too. I scored 150 fantasy points and lost.
Yeah.
because I played against Kamara, Malik Neighbors, and somebody else. All just went stupid.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. This is the first season in a long time that I'm not in any fantasy at all, and I got to be honest, it's kind of a nice experience just watching NFL games, just to watch NFL games and not give a shit about this one guy he got 8 catches for 150, so I need to make sure that my guy does this or whatever. Mm-hmm. Honestly, just watching the games, just to watch the games is a freeing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that's close to the 66-10 Patrick Mahomes stat is Joel Lanning 6 rushing touchdowns? 5 rushing touchdowns?
Yeah. I had the school record. Yeah. Classic.
Crazy game.
Linebacker.
That's like stuff you tell your grandkids.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though is I specifically remember this game back when Cole Netton was still hanging around with us on Down the Pipe. Is that one, you didn't know that you were on the same team as Cole that year, and like had forgotten that you were like in that game.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was. That was a.
Was that
really
Cole's senior year?
Game.
That was Cole's senior because Cole only played for Campbell for 1 year. Yeah.
That was a cold. That was an underrated Cole game that I played.
Yeah.
That was a. I don't think Tech. They probably got off the bus and they were probably running on the field. They're like, yeah, this isn't.
Like fuck that.
This isn't it.
Back in it was a 2013, I want to say Kansas. This is back when Kansas was like really shitty. Mm-hmm. Down at the peak of Kansas's shittiness. 2013, 2-9 Iowa State, or it was 3-8 Iowa State played 2-9 Kansas at home in the season finale, and the high for the day was -10.
Yeah, I think Alan told me that day he was like a punt returner.
Yeah, he did. He returned a punt. Did he return a punt for the touchdown that day? Maybe. I swear to God, I feel like I remember in my brain Alan Lazard running a punt back for a touchdown, and I could be wrong, but I feel like that happened. What was that?
I said it's just crazy to me that he was back there. Like he's the last
Honestly,
guy.
He was back there because there was no other good option. He was the best option as a punt.
Didn't returner. You say that our last punt return for a touchdown was Trevor Ryan?
Trevor Ryan versus UNI in 2017. That was our last punt return for a touchdown.
That's bad. That's almost
no Kansas 2017.
Or Kansas. It was Trevor Ryan versus Kansas. That's one I was thinking, not UNI, Kansas.
But like we're creeping in on a decade without a punt return.
We're close to we're pushing 7 years right now without a punt return touchdown. I'm trying to think. Have we returned a kick for a touchdown? Kane did against
West Virginia.
Was it West Virginia 2018?
I think he definitely
on the road.
No. It would have been home in the black uniforms.
I thought he did that 1 year. The Campbell's first year, he returned one, did he not? Or
he did. He returned one his first year against West Virginia when we got smoked. Yeah, I know Kane returned, or maybe I'm thinking of the long one he had against Oklahoma in 2020, where he didn't get all the way there, but he got like.
I returned a kick against Kansas for I think 16 yards. That's a pretty good average for a career. 16 yards, I'll take it.
I would say maybe our last kick return was Kane's against West Virginia in 20.
Yeah, I think the punt thing is like we just don't try to return.
We genuinely just do not even try. Now, Jalen has taken a few punts back a long ways, just not all the way back.
But I don't understand that really. Like, I think we should try.
Oh, Kane return one versus UNI? When did that happen?
That's like. Dude, I have CTE. What are you asking me for?
Well, I was asking the chat. I mean,
I'm over here. I maybe have like 4 more brain cells living than Tua.
It's unfortunate for Tua.
Was that the?
No. I'm trying to think when Kane returned one versus Iowa.
UNI, you mean?
Or sorry, UNI, yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Gosh, I don't remember that one at all.
It has to be like 20.
Well, Trevor's last year was 2017.
The Brownie's just making stuff up.
Yeah, Brian's a fucking nutto. Yeah, because I don't think. Yeah, I think I was just thinking of.
Are we sure he didn't take one at West Virginia. I remember a long.
He might have had a long one, but
I remember when Turpin returned one on us. I remember that.
Devontae Turpin. That was TCU's only score in the 2017.
Yeah, because we weren't supposed to kick to him. Literally,
dude. Listen, I'm telling you, they got
not kick to Turpin.
Like, don't get me wrong. I was a fast guy for being a behemoth, but like, they got me running down on kickoff. I'm supposed to hold the edge. It's fine. I can do that. The damn coverage splits like I'm talking like from hash to sideline, like splits wide ass open.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh god.
I saw Turpin ran in the straight fucking line all the way straight.
It just split wide open. And although I'm supposed to keep contained on the edge, I like folded in. I was like literally, it's me and the smallest, fastest guy in our conference, and probably 35 yards of wide open space. And he puts like one little move on me, and there's actually a picture of it. I'm on the ground, and I have his undershirt in my hand, and it's stretched like 5 yards, and then it ripped, and I had a piece of his shirt, and then I look up, and there he goes, and I'm like, oh god.
I'm gonna see if I can find that clip now.
Yeah, that's not your fault because he was never supposed to touch that ball.
Well, it wasn't even my like responsibility on the play.
And it was a short kick. He was like running under it. I was like, touchdown. Like, as soon as he touched it, I knew it was touchdown. It was like luck. I was like, and then, yeah, that's the wildest game I've ever been in, for sure. Because I was just literally panicking on the sideline every time. Like, literally finna lose. Like, I was just thinking, like, our Iowa State luck at that time was like, no way we lose this game. And defense just kept bailing us out. That was the craziest game.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to find that kick return to see if I could figure out.
Let me see.
So I was just trying to find. I'm digging through a YouTube video right now trying to find it.
Oh no!
I just found Marchie's. I found Marchie's catch in the end zone.
Okay, so this isn't the one where it was wide open. We must have got him down. I guess I don't know. There's a picture of me holding this guy's undershirt. This one I'm looking at. I'm actually in this clip too.
You can on the bottom. You can share your screen.
Okay, hold on.
Let's see here. I was just gonna. Let's see.
Oh, here we go. This one here. Is that it?
Oh yeah, there's the kick return. Yeah.
Okay, so this one isn't the one I'm thinking of. It must have been maybe it was a different returner or a different year. The one I'm thinking of, there's a picture of me, this shirt stretching for miles. This is crazy because I'm getting held the fuck, by the way. There's me right there. Okay.
Yeah, you are. Look at that.
I'm getting held to absolute fuck.
And he just whoop. There goes later.
Fuck, I even tried to sell it too.
Huh.
Now I'm even more pissed. I tried to sell it.
He just came over and then just whoop. There's a whole gap right there.
That's not the one I'm thinking of with the shirt stretching, obviously.
Yeah.
Franchise.
Huh. I just happened to be pulling up and I found a March's catch and the touchdown catch in the end zone.
Let's see it.
Yeah, see how I pull it up. Let's see. Yeah.
That wasn't me. That was Keem.
Oh, was that Keem in the back?
Yeah.
Oh, it is Keem back. That was Keem back. I thought
that was sweet.
TCU game though, I was supposed to score, but freaking Kyle Kemp overthrew me. Like the only pass ever that he's ever overthrown me.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
Oh yeah.
It was a wide open touchdown.
I remember.
Now I gotta go.
Iowa State was the Akron game when Jacob Park hit you on a deep one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now I gotta find the one I'm thinking of, dude. There's one. It's against TCU. I don't know if it's him or somebody else, but
probably at TCU. That
this is Brian Peavy's pick. Yep.
Yeah, like right here, I was so mad because I'm like, bro, we need to score. And nobody blocks the guy behind him.
Nobody blocked Turpin of all fucking people.
Like, what? Like I'm thinking everybody's just running beside him and not thinking about the guys running from behind.
Can we just appreciate that we got rid of those jerseys? Holy smokes!
I don't think they were that bad.
The
They're not
yellow
great.
ones, the yellow ones were
The,
bad.
no, we're not talking about the yellow ones. Those
I
are
actually gave
fucking
that one. It was in my closet, and I
actually
gave it away.
Marky. Isn't
Yeah, I
your
have the
jersey?
yellow jersey.
Yes, the jersey you got framed is gold. Right?
I got the yellow one. I got the two like most trash jerseys, I guess. I got the yellow one, and then they gave me those gray ones that we had.
Oh, the ones from the Iowa
Yeah.
game. Yeah, and the San Jose State game.
And I never want to like even look at that one because it's like, bro, we lost versus Iowa.
Yeah, that Iowa game was tough because David was doing some wacky fucking shit that day,
Yeah.
and just like, up
But
and
see,
down.
like even this, like at this moment, I'm just like, bro, like how are we getting these plays? Like we clearly should be losing.
David Montgomery versus Iowa in 2017 was maybe the single greatest like
That was
breakup.
some. Yeah,
was
that was some
unreal.
man shit.
Like,
some man.
He was just dragging people everywhere, like
Yeah.
just doing some crazy shit. Like this get fucked because that's Josie Jewell in
Just
there,
to get like
linebacker.
5 yards.
Yeah, like he would do some crazy shit. Let's see if I can find it. Throwing some blocks. Oh, this is one. Is he going on a screen here on the right? Oh no, this one. He's gonna.
That's
What is
me.
No.
Oh yeah, there's you. This says Dave Montgomery highlights, but
Yeah.
March is catching balls now, I guess. Overthrow.
Okay.
Where's David? Where's David's highlights?
It's coming.
I know.
The first
Yeah.
drive,
He went
It's
nuts in the
coming.
ball. That's
He
me
went-
again. Boom.
He went nuts this game.
That one when he's on the goal line, it's like shed.
Oh my
tackle,
God,
stiff arm,
yeah.
shed
Another catch.
And then he
Boy, I
pushed.
thought I was gonna get 100 yards.
tackle.
I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get so many.
Well,
catches.
you can see it right there, right at the end of the play. You're like,
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in this
caught it.
zone.
He's
Keep
like-
feeding me.
he's like,
Then
fuck
no
yeah,
more
I'm getting 100,
catches
boy.
I'm like, come.
Is this it right here?
on.
This
There's-
is one. This isn't
No.
much here. I think this is on the goal line though. Is when he's gonna stiff arm spin and then run over
Fade,
Josie Jewell.
fade to Allen, touchdown.
Oh, this is. Oh yeah, yeah.
Or
No,
no, he might this play, but
Turns out we're all dumb.
Yeah. Whoever made this maybe doesn't know what the word highlight means.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if this is like meant to be like draft scouting tape versus like.
Maybe.
I bet that's what it's meant to be versus like a highlight tape. This is just 11 minutes of David throwing fucking pass blocks. Oh, that's a good shit. Oh, overthrow. Jacob Park, man, what could have been?
Man.
That kid has a fucking arm.
he sure was feeding me.
Yeah, he was your best friend that day.
Facts.
Oh, our quarterback getting sacked by Iowa's D-line. We've never seen that before.
Trying to see. There we go. I think this is one, maybe. No. Okay. Damn it, YouTube! You have deceived me.
There's that one play on the goal line that is just like, that guy is an absolute man among boys.
Actually, the first
Up 10.
time
Put us
I
up 10.
noticed it, the first time I noticed David, he made a play against UNI in 2016 that I was like, what the fuck? Here it is. Boom, face mask,
Boom.
get shit on. Oh, Joe back. Just kidding. Fuck you, Josie Jewell. You bitch. That was like, this game was unreal. That's the only Iowa highlight they're gonna show. I mean, fair enough, I guess, but
Yeah, this one was nuts.
it's crazy. That that high step is disgusting. Gosh, it's kind of amazing. He still runs exactly like that in the NFL, and it still works perfectly. Like
Yeah.
all of his like physical, just running through people and shaking off tacklers. He still does that in the NFL on a regular basis. It's a little heavy juke there.
How did we lose?
Gosh, I can tell you exactly how we lost that game.
The rain delay?
No, that one was
Oh,
Marchie
that was,
that was Marchie getting hosed on his catch in the end zone.
yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could find that, like just the clips of that Iowa game, because it was unbelievable.
But what year was that? We were like about to blow the fuck out of Iowa, and then the rain delay, and then they somehow won. That was the punt return.
That was 2019.
That was the punt return, right? Yeah.
Yes, that was the punt return. Yeah, that was 2019. That was a bad time. We don't talk about that game. But all right, boys.
Anything else about Arkansas State?
Yeah, so Arkansas State.
I mean, I guess we didn't have much to talk about because we didn't play last week, but
Yeah. We ended up talking about a bunch of other shit that wasn't Arkansas State, but that's okay because they've got a mobile quarterback. But Iowa State hopefully should beat them by 2-3 touchdowns, ideally. I don't know if it'll happen.
I mean, I'd like to just guns blazing. Like, we don't need to lose anybody in this game. Like, that's bad.
I would like Connor Moberly or JJ Cole taking snaps in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's what I would like. I've never seen a backup quarterback go in the third quarter against Campbell or under Campbell. I don't think we've had put the second team in the third quarter, but I'd like to see JJ Cole or Connor Moberly in the fourth quarter throwing balls to whatever scout team receiver they want to throw on the field. Dominic Overby, get him some snaps.
Well, they're going to have a scout team running back playing quarterback this week.
Yep.
That's what they like to do.
I bet.
Get ready for that kind of stuff.
All right, boys. You got anything else you want to throw in there before we wrap her up?
Man, just dominate.
What do you think? Are you going to give him a prediction?
Me?
Matthias isn't here to pick Arkansas State, so I don't know how we're going to survive.
So we're definitely going to
I see this being like, I mean, I just have to think we'll be dominant. I think we'll win, but I think Arkansas State will make some plays too. I think they'll have a couple.
Yeah.
We'll have a couple blunders where we're like, what are we doing? But I think we win like 45-24.
High scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Dylan?
I think it's going to start. Unfortunately, I think it's going to start a little slow, kind of like we're used to.
Yeah.
But I think probably a good second half. I don't think they're going to score a whole lot. I'm thinking like 31-10.
Nice.
31-10.
Give me the Clones 38-17.
There you go.
Points up. So, all right, everybody. I don't have really a good funny way to fuck with Matthias on the ending here, so we're just gonna go ahead.